You're listening to Carolina Forest Panther football on the Carolina Forest Panther Football Network, and it starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Carolina Forest Panther football here on the Carolina Forest Panther Football Network, as it is the season finale here at Panther Stadium as the Panthers get set to take on the St. James Sharks. Both teams come into the game at a 5-4 record, also both at 2-2 in Region 5-5A. This is in Region 5-5A. So it's going to be a big one. This is definitely the biggest game in the county tonight in the final game of the regular season. My name is Brandon Biskuping. I'll be bringing you all the action, and joining me as usual is Preston Payne. And Preston, while this game is important for both teams, obviously, and important in terms of seeding and whatnot, it feels kind of less important than in years past because of the fact that now with the realignment, both the 2 and 3 seed get home field advantage. And we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, or we were talking about this last week rather. It may be more advantageous actually to be the 3 seed because you're facing off against the 4 seed of Region 6.
And I also made the point that obviously you never want to lose a football game.
Of course.
It's just not – no. Unless you're trying to tank, which we don't have in high school football because there's no draft.
Yeah.
So I understand, and to your point about how both the 2 and the 3 seed get home field advantage because of realignment, I think it would be better if we also didn't have the at-large bids. And I think that the at-large bids also take away from it's almost like expanding college football playoff. And there's pros and cons, but the baseline is that more losing teams are probably going to get teams with 2 losses are going to get in for the first time ever.
Now, see, that's a little different for me because it actually allows every conference and every team to have a reason to play.
Right.
It's basically like if you took the lowest region or the weakest region in 5A and said, oh, just because your region is weak, you are automatically disqualified from the playoffs.
So, but to that point, also, no region is completely that bad.
True.
So
true.
You have at least one competitive team in every single region.
Apples and oranges.
And apples and oranges, obviously, but to the same effect.
Yeah.
And it would make it. It would put a little bit of more of a fire for a competitive standpoint under, say, a Sockasty last week fighting for their playoff lives. To if they win that game, they have a chance to make the playoffs. And now, as long as they beat the struggling Wando team, that we'll keep an eye on to see if Sockasty, because that game is basically for an at-large bid in lower state.
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on that game as well as the Berkeley and Cambay respective matchups.
Yeah, we'll go through the potential situations right now for the playoffs for next week. Like I mentioned, the winner of this game will be the 2 seed coming out of Region 5, and they will face the 3 seed of Region 4, which River Bluff has already locked in that spot at number 3. So that's who the winner of this game will be hosting next week. The loser of this game, a little more complicated right now. Berkeley, Stratford, and Wando all could potentially be tied for 4th as Berkeley and both Berkeley and Stratford are at 1 and 2. So if they lose their respective games against Cane Bay and Goose Creek tonight, which certainly could happen. Both of those will be at 1-3 as well, and Wando already rounded up their region schedule, and they are at 1-3 themselves. So a few tiebreakers. Each of them actually are split. So I don't fully know how the tiebreaker would work on that front, because Stratford beat Wando but lost to Berkeley.
So basically, it's a rock, paper, scissors type deal in that region where one team lost to one team and lost the other team. And it's just it. And if you do follow the Twitter page and you are active with you'll know that I made a mistake. Earlier.
You jumped the gun a little bit.
I jumped the gun, and I was also doing it in my first period Spanish class. If that gives any excuse, I was sitting right next to a guy who was asking a whole bunch of questions about region stuff. So it just kind of is what it is, and maybe apparently I shouldn't be the guy to answer those questions.
No.
But on the flip side, kind of trying to focus back on this game. Because that's what we can actually control, right?
Yes.
And from what I've heard about this St. James team, they are a little bit more pass heavy than a couple teams that we've seen so far.
Yeah, this is going to pass heavy. These two quarterbacks are the two leading passers in the region. Actually, I take that back. Devin Granger is slightly higher than Connor Schwalm, who is at St. James. Scott Saylor, a couple of stat lines to keep an eye on for tonight, and luckily we've got Ian Guerin tonight, so we will have stats for you. Scott Saylor at 1,845 passing yards, 1,845, and he is at 482 rushing yards. So look for him to potentially break both 2,000 and 500 tonight.
What's crazy about that stat is we complained about how little he throws the football, and comparatively to how much he should. And on top of that, he's getting close up to 500 rushing yards.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately a dual threat quarterback in a pass, not in a running back first offense, if that makes sense. It just it seems like we're lying to you. It seems like we're lying.
I know.
It seems like we're lying.
The stats do not show what we've seen week in and week out.
Right. It just always seems like when they should be passing, they run, and when they should run, they pass.
Yeah.
It just is a whole thing that we probably will talk about a million times today. But it is senior night here.
Yes.
And we were mentioning it before we went on air. This team is going to look a lot different next year. But this is why they have to make a huge statement win here and go get that second seed in the region, as it looks like the national anthem is going to play here. So we will take a quick break and see you live in about 3 minutes.
Switching is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on the lights. We switch TV channels. Some of us switch partners while square dancing. Well, that's a stretch. But what's not a stretch is how you can switch and save with State Farm. In fact, State Farm agent Tony McAfee, right here in Carolina Forest, can switch you over so you can start saving today. Tony and his team are ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood. With Tony McAfee, it's easy to switch and save. Just give him a call. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back as we are just about set to get things underway here at Panther Stadium between the St. James Sharks and the Carolina Forest Panthers. And we were talking about it before, how this game, at least in the grand scheme of things with the playoffs and whatnot, doesn't feel quite as important as it has in years past due to the playoff system that we've got this year in 5A. But for St. James, this game is incredibly important in program history. Obviously, we've talked about it. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. St. James making the playoff for the first time since 2015. But I was looking through their history, and 2015 is the only season in program history that they've gone over 500. And if they win tonight, they would go. Now, granted, in an overall schedule, if they lost in the first round of the playoffs, they wouldn't. Or actually, no, I take that back. They would be over 500 still.
Yeah. So that being said, St. James is newer than Carolina Forest is. St. James was built in what, 2003, 2004?
2004, yeah.
So they've only had one winning season, but at the same time, they are a very new program. And Carolina Forest was so much different because it took from Myrtle Beach, Conway, Saukesee,
very true.
That gene pool, if you will, like that pool of players, creates a great makeup for a football for the start of a football program. And yes, it's not good, but you got to think about how bad Carolina Forest was at the beginning of their life as a football program.
But Carolina Forest was able to turn it around very quickly.
Yeah.
They were, for the last, almost decade, Carolina Forest has been a good program. I mean, this is, they've clinched a playoff berth for the 8th straight season now this year. So, it's definitely different. Another thing to note on that front is this is the first time. Now, granted, they only moved up out of 3A in 2016. They were in 3A for their entire history from that point. But this is the first time that they'll make it into the playoffs in a higher classification than 3A. So, I mean, St. James has had a great season. Relatively speaking, there definitely seems to be a program on the rise as Carolina Forest comes out of the tarp.
So they retired the Army helmet.
Yeah. They had the helmet for what, 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
And now they decide to go back to the tarp?
I don't know. I liked the helmet, but it seemed a little too fake.
Fair enough.
It seemed like, because it didn't have a panther on it, it just looked like it looked like it was bought.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like it was not, for the school.
Yeah. I'll give you that. But we are just about set to get underway here.
So one thing that I wanted to mention is that it has been raining / pouring the entire day, off and on all day. And we've had one misty game, and it was only for about a quarter and a half of a game. The first time we ever played it on the turf. So I was out there on the field earlier, running routes, messing around with some of my friends on the JV football team. But it is squishy. It is
and that's the difference between turf and grass.
Right. But that's why the argument is always well-maintained grass is better than turf, because turf can get squishy like that.
Yeah. And we were seeing the players and Mark Morris pregame kind of bouncing on the turf and feeling it. And while it's not raining right now, you have to wonder how that's going to play into this game as the teams are getting lined up and we are just about set to get underway. Didn't see the coin toss, but Carolina Forest will receive the ball to start off this game.
The turf is very wet because I can still feel the wetness in my socks right now from being on the field, like it's making my feet pruny. But yeah, this should be an interesting game to see how the turf reacts, to see how just the players, if the cuts are just as like how they're doing. But this should be an exciting one. The stands are probably the fullest we've seen outside of the homecoming game. This should be a good one.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a good one. Even the away side now, obviously, Merle's Inlet not too far away, about 45 minutes away.
The ball fell off the tee, by the way.
Yeah,
I
see that.
How uneven the ground is.
And it is windy. It is windy out there as well. It's a cold, windy night here in Carolina Forest, so the elements may play a factor in this one as Daniel Deneen sets the ball up on the tee once more. And we'll see if second time's the charm.
Kickoff. Anthony Aponte, like we mentioned, has been back there, and he is a big play threat out of the kickoff game as the kick is over the head into the end zone, and it lands in the middle of the O in the end zone. That was a deep kick off the kickoff. And that's one of the things that we were talking about J.J. Chaddock trying to be able to do and let him do that. And instead of the 35 like we normally get the ball at, it's the 20, and that's a big difference in field of possession.
Yeah. So the Panthers will start with the ball at their own 20-yard line. Shotgun set, 3 wide on the near side.
Got 3 wide in a little
bunch trips formation on the near side.
They're not even in a bunch. Like it's just 3 people really, really close to each other. We saw them kind of trying to do new formations.
And now they're going to spread out now. Saylor takes the snap, hands it off. Zion Gilbert trying to find a hole, tries to bounce it to the outside, and then gets pulled down by I don't think it would be a school of sharks.
We had this conversation. We had this conversation with Oceanside.
Yeah.
It's a clan of sharks.
Clan of sharks.
How about that? We'll go with that.
So that was a gain of 6, so it'll be 2nd and 4 from the 26.
We didn't go to science class either on the Football Network.
Shotgun set, 3 wide on the far side this time. They'll hand it off to Gilbert again. This time he gets wrapped up and pulled down hard by number 16, Chandler Stevens. The defensive tackle came in and got in, made a strong tackle on Gilbert, and that'll make it 3rd and 6.
And this is a position where you got to throw the football. Like you can't prey on Zion Gilbert breaking another 60-yard plus touchdown run.
Shotgun set, 3 wide on the far side. Saylor takes the snap, 5-step drop, looks to the far side and throws it, and it's completed for the first down to Nathan Schuessler, and he will get taken down at the 44-yard line. Oh, actually, that was Owen Hall who made that catch.
And I won't blame you this time because it is hard for the red on black combination to see the numbers. But that was it was an in route by Owen Hall, and he was able to just sit down in kind of a soft spot in the coverage and able to get a first down off of it.
Shotgun set, 3 wide on the near side this time. Saylor takes a snap. He'll go speed option. Now he'll pull it back and throw it down the field. Wide open is Anthony Aponte, and he makes the catch and goes into the end zone for a touchdown.
We have finally seen an extra wrinkle thrown into this offense. They faked the speed option, and Anthony just flew past everybody. That is the evolution from Coach Mark Morris and his offensive play calling that we have been waiting for all season. The fake speed option and Anthony touchdown.
That was a great play call, and it culminates in a 61-yard touchdown pass. The extra point is up and good. And just like that, with only less than 2 minutes coming on.
For this entire season out of this offense. We know they can do it. And we talked about with Nathan Schuessler scheming guys open.
Yeah.
That was a scheme him open type of move right there. That was a beautiful pass, and it hung up in the air.
Yeah.
You talk about the Russell Wilson moonshots that hit the top, like basically just go straight down into the receiver's arms. That was a big play right there by Anthony Aponte.
Yes, indeed it was, and what a start for this game. And already Scott getting close to that 2,000-yard mark.
Right, that was a quick way to start that one.
He's already up over 1,900 now.
Yeah, that's a big play. And JJ will pooch it again. We're caught at about the 27. He's going to bring this one out, and it'll be stood up right at the 31-yard line for a gain of 4 on the return. And we're going to be doing math a whole lot because I'm going to be comparing 30 or whatever the number is to 20 the entire night for what it could be if JJ Chaddock was able to kick it far. And I'll keep the player anonymous for personal reasons, but he was telling me why he was explaining to me that everyone on the team wonders why JJ doesn't kick it deep and give the defense a little bit of a break, as it was actually to the 32-yard line.
Schwalm, their side, shotgun set, actually pistol set, motion.
Oh, wide open.
And they throw it wide open down the far sideline, and finally getting pulled down at the 25-yard line is prime real estate to shotgun set, 3 wide on the near side. Schwalm takes a snap, 1-step drop, now steps up into the pocket, will try to run for it, but will be stood up right in front of the line of scrimmage, and that'll be a loss of 1, and it'll be 2nd and 11.
And good job by the defense. They wrapped around, they stayed in their gaps, and they played disciplined defensive line play. And one of the things that I wanted to mention, we always talked about how the passing defense for Carolina Forest, especially the pass rush, was 10 times better than the run defense. Yeah. This is going to be a game where we're not playing a D1 quarterback in Lenora Sellers, and we're also playing a pass-first offense, which
should play to our hands.
Panthers. Yeah.
Shotgun set, 2 wide on the far side. Motion, they'll run the jet sweep, trying to find a hole, and does, and gets pulled down at around the 16-yard line is number 5. That is Keandre Haynes, who was set. He's normally a running back, but was set up in the wide receiver position.
3rd and 4 here. You've got to get a stop here.
Considering how well Daniel Deneen kicked it on the kickoff, you'd have to wonder, do they go for a field goal?
But if our offense is going to look like that the entire game, scoring touchdowns in 4 plays, I'll be all right with them kicking field goals.
Shotgun set, bunch trips on the far side. Low snap, they'll hand it off, trying to find a hole, trying to bounce it around the corner, and does, and gets pushed out of bounds at around the 6-yard line is Isaiah Brown.
And it took him a hot minute to get around the corner.
Yeah.
And he was kind of just sitting behind his offensive guard, or his left guard, I should say, and just kind of sat there and eventually got around the corner, and that is when he broke to the 9-yard line.
Did get the first down, so it'll be 1st and goal from the 9. Shotgun set, 3 wide on the far side. Actually, pistol set, 3 wide on the far side. Schwalm takes a snap, will run the speed option, keeps it himself, finds a hole, and gets stood up right at the line of scrimmage, and he is able to push his way through past over a couple of Panthers and scores the touchdown.
That was very bad defense.
No, yeah.
That was just not getting your eyes to the quarterback and just not – they didn't look aggressive on that play. And this is what we were worried about against Socastee. Like, we were worried about how not good the Socastee or the Carolina Forest defense looked against the Socastee offense that hadn't really done much all year.
So the extra point by Deneen. And a whistle is blown, and the refs are discussing something. And offsides is called on the Panthers.
So do they? They're going to line back up for it. It's not going to matter. But I was going to see if they wanted to take the penalty just for the 2 point. If they want to go for 2 points.
They may take the penalty on the kick.
That too. As the kick is
wow! It almost got
go
blocked. Very close to being blocked. Coming around the corner was number 6.
Renardo Parks.
Yeah, Renardo Parks. Yeah. No, R.J. Williams.
R.J. Williams, you're right. But just defense did not look aggressive there at all. And we talked about the Socastee game. Didn't play their best defense against the Socastee offense. And we were worried if that was going to translate into this game, and it very clearly has. And this is going to be, we are 8:16 in, or we are not 8:16. We are roughly 4 minutes, 3:45 left into this game. We already have 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, this is going to be a shootout.
This is going to be my type of game.
I was just going to say.
If you thought last week was going to be my type of game, this week is going to be my type of game.
Could it be a similar situation to like the... We will have to wait and see as Daniel Deneen puts the ball on the tee and gets ready to kick it off.
Or is it going to be like this the end of the first half as the kick will go through...
Slide through the end zone again.
Not even close to being returned. But will this be a repeat of like the end of the first half in the Sockers game where we see 3 touchdowns every... Or where we see 4 touchdowns in 3 minutes?
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see as the Panthers come back out onto the field on offense, starting their drive at the 20-yard line.
One thing that I want to see going into this drive is, are they going to continue kind of the evolution like I was talking about of this offense, and are they going to continue to expand the playbook a little bit?
You would certainly hope so. Shotgun set, 2 wide on the far side. They'll motion Aponte over to the near side. They'll hand it off to Gilbert. Gilbert tries to find a hole in the middle of the defense, but gets stood up after a gain of 1. And it'll be second. They'll actually give him 2, so it'll be 2nd and 8.
And the answer to our question on the first play of the drive is no.
No. But that's kind
of. But here's the thing: the running game has to set up the deep passing game like we just saw. They faked the speed option, and that's what got Anthony behind the defense.
Shotgun set, 3 wide on the far side. Saylor takes the snap, 0-step drop, throws it outside over to Owen Hall. He's still on his feet, pulls a couple of Sharks out to the 38-yard line, and that'll be enough for a Tony McAfee State Farm Carolina Forest first down.
Owen Hall being the featured wide receiver so far, obviously outside of the Anthony Aponte touchdown, but the intermediate stuff is looking like Owen Hall is going to be the main factor, and that is why we missed him so much at Sumter.
Yeah.
We have a deep play threat either in Nathan Schuessler or with Anthony Aponte, depending on the play, and maybe that's more on Nate.
Shotgun set, 1 wide on either side. H-back moves from far side to near side. They'll hand it off to Gilbert. Gilbert tries to get through the hole, but gets stood up at the 37-yard line. That'll be a loss of 1, and it is now 2nd and 11.
I always talk about how the run game causes, if you run play action, it causes the linebackers to get sucked up into the line. When you have a deep play threat like Nathan Schuessler and teams start double-teaming him, that opens up the middle of the field as well when you're one-on-one, or if they play a kind of a cover 2 type defense, that really sucks in defenses away from the middle of the field.
And opens up your second and your slot receivers.
Right.
Shotgun set, 1 wide on either side. High snap. They'll go play action. Throw it deep to Schuessler. He's wide open. He makes the catch and gets pulled down from behind at the 21-yard line.
And if I'm not mistaken, that should put him over 750 for the year.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. He was at 726, I want to say, coming in.
Yes, then that would definitely put him over 750. So Nate Schuessler gets his milestone for the season. And Scott is very close.
Is coming close. And it concerns me because the chances of him going right back to the run right up the middle type of game is pretty high right now.
Shotgun set, 1 wide on either side. H-back moving from far side to near side. Low snap. They'll hand it off to Gilbert. Gilbert finds a little bit of a hole and gets held up at around the 15-yard line.
And there's going to be a flag for a late hit. Zion was thrown to the ground, and it's going to be personal foul on St. James. That was a late hit, and I couldn't tell who it was. I want to say it was number 72. I think it was number 72.
72, Chris Skinner.
It was number 72 walking away from that play, and he was thrown down well after the whistle was blown dead.
So that will move the Panthers all the way up. We'll see where they mark it. I believe they're going to mark it at the 8-yard line.
That looks about right. But bigger part of that is seeing so far in the red zone this year, or the entire season in the red zone this year. I say so far like we're not in the last game of the regular season.
Yeah. Shotgun set, 1 wide on either side. 2nd and goal from the 5. Saylor takes the snap. Read option. He'll keep it himself, and he will get pushed back at around the 2-yard line.
Holding though on the
they're going to call
The refs are calling penalties very fast. The backside judge called that penalty and had it in within at least probably about 5 seconds of the play ending. They're going to redo the signal because no one saw what the signal was. But it was holding.
Yeah.
That'll push him back. And to my credit, they did run the read option. The Scotty option game was what they went with there. But now
with its 2nd and 16, you need to pass
the football.
Yeah.
And they have Nazir Thompson, Nas, who has won quite a few jump balls to go on that far side to maybe go a one-on-one fade route type against his cornerback.
Shotgun set, 2 wide on either side. Sailor takes a snap, 1-step drop, now scrambles out, throws it, and it is completed. Will they say? Did they say he caught it? Yes, they did. And that was completed to Anthony Aponte.
For a gain of 2, but that was Scotty kind of improvising right there. He was kind of throwing out of a sack right there. That was he just kind of get rid of that one, and he did, and he found Anthony for 2 yards right there.
So it's 3rd and goal from the 14, and if they don't make it here, is it 4-down territory, or do you kick the field goal?
Depends on what they do here.
Yeah. Shotgun set, 3 wide on snap, 5-step drop, looking far side, and it's thrown short, trying to get it to Nazir Thompson.
They did have the little slant route right there for Nas that time. And different type of – it is J.J. Chaddock coming out for a field goal attempt.
Yeah, so they're going to kick a field goal right here.
And just like I said, I'm okay with St. James kicking field goals. I'm not okay with Carolina Forest kicking field goals because if the defense doesn't hold up, this could be a big issue.
Yeah.
But however, we do get the ball to start the second half as the kick is up and –
No.
Good.
Oh, yeah,
good.
just barely getting.
Right down the middle. It was a little bit of a high arching kick, but it did go through. And J.J. Chaddock with another field goal kick and another field goal make, and it'll increase the lead to a 10-7 lead. And any lead is, and that's another thing. Coach Mark Morris taking points in a game where you know a lot of points are going to be scored is beautiful.
Yeah.
You don't want to go down a touchdown instead of 4 where you have the chance to take a lead with a touchdown. Later in the game, obviously. You don't want to be down a touchdown when you could be down 4 points because you decided to go for it on fourth and goal from the 14.
Yeah. So it's 10-7 with 4.5 minutes left to go in the first quarter. And the Panthers will kick it back off to St. James. And this drive right here is going to be a very, very big one just in terms of seeing where the Panther defense is at. Was that first drive just a fluke, or does the offense need to keep up?
You never want to assume we're very early in this game still
exactly.
4:32 left in the first quarter as JJ will pooch it again, and this time a little bit deeper though, down to the 27-yard line again, and it'll be wrangled down at the 35-yard line, and it again 35 or the 20-yard line. 35 or the 20-yard line.
Yeah.
It just
I agree.
It just kind of pains me because JJ has a beautiful leg.
Yeah.
He has a very strong leg. I don't know why they don't kind of utilize it a little bit more.
So St. James comes back out onto the field on offense starting at their own 35-yard line.
And you know what's crazy? They're in a huddle offense, but they don't ever get close to the play clock running out.
Yeah.
However, Carolina Forest does not use a huddle offense, but gets down in the play clock very often.
Shotgun set, 3 wide on the far side. Now they'll move a wide receiver into the pistol position. Schwalm takes a snap, rolls out, and throws it incomplete, trying to get it to number 11, Ben Sant.
And that... It almost looked like when you're playing Madden, you use a user playmaker.
Yeah.
That's almost what that kind of the scramble drill type. And right there.
Keeps it himself, trying to get around the corner, and is pushed out of bounds at around the 45-yard line.
It'll be. Are they going to. I can't tell where they're going to spot this.
Yeah,
they're going to give it to him.
They're going to give it to him. They'll give him the first down.
I couldn't tell where he went out. And
it was right at the 45-yard line that he went out of bounds.
So this game right now, the defense has to stiffen up, and we've seen them get better as the game has gone on.
And that play right there is worrisome.
Right.
Because that triple option fooled the defense
Heavily.
Yes. Shotgun set. 2 wide on the far side. They'll hand it off and trying to break through and getting through a hole and finally being held up at the 40-yard line is Keandre Haynes. And they'll actually give him all the way up to the 39-yard line.
And that is not good either.
No.
Because if the run defense and the pass defense isn't doing well, then the defense isn't doing well, and that's not good at all.
And that's enough for another St. James first down. Shotgun set. Trips on the far side. Schwalm takes a snap. 1-step drop. Throws it high, and it's caught right at the 35-yard line. That is number 17, Jay Shropshire, who makes the catch.
This
And
game,
they actually gave him a generous spot again, putting him all the way down at the 34.
so this game is going to be about the key to this game is going to be getting St. James into 3rd and long situations. You can't. The defense has to make St. James's offense one-dimensional.
2nd and 5. Pistol set, 2 wide on either side. They'll hand it off. Oh, no, runs the triple option again. And Schwalm keeps it himself and will get taken down right at the first down marker. And they will say he had enough. That's another first down for St. James. Ball is spotted at the 29-yard line.
I don't know. I think there's still a lot of this game to left.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
it's too early to react. But the way this game is going, it's going to be offense.
The defense needs to step up, or the offense is just going to need to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
Shotgun set. 1 wide on either side. Oh, actually, they'll go 2 wide on the near side. And now St. James. Yeah, looked like there was some confusion in terms of what the formation was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And so St. James calls a timeout. We'll take one with them. With 2:17 left to go in the first quarter, 10-7. Panthers in the lead here on the Carolina Forest Panther Football Network.
Switching is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on the lights. We switch TV channels. Some of us switch partners while square dancing. Well, that's a stretch. But what's not a stretch is how you can switch and save with State Farm. In fact, State Farm agent Tony McAfee, right here in Carolina Forest, can switch you over so you can start saving today. Tony and his team are ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood. With Tony McAfee, it's easy to switch and save. Just give him a call. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line for St. James, and they're trying to take the lead for the first time in this game. And like you were mentioning, well, what I was going to say before we went to break is that luckily for the Panthers, they get the ball back to start off the second half. As they'll go play action, throws it high, and it's caught by Sant, and he gets taken down at the 16-yard line, and that'll be enough for another St. James first down. And now it just seems like St. James can do whatever they want against this Panther defense, it seems. The play, especially after establishing the triple option, now they're running play action triple options. Mm-hmm. Shotgun set, 2 wide on the far side. Now they'll move it again, and this time they'll hand it off. Breaking through the hole and wide open, high-stepping his way into the end zone is Isaiah Brown.
Just, again, defensive line is getting absolutely cooked right now, and they're getting pushed back at the line and just not being able to stop anything this St. James offense is doing, and it just really seems like Carolina Forest defense is struggling to find a solution to stop the run game right now.
Yeah. As the extra point will be going up momentarily. The kick is up and good. And with 1:47 left to go in the first quarter, it is 14-10 St. James.
And it doesn't know. I don't know how the defense can be so inconsistent.
Yeah.
First half of Sumter game,
100 this year. But not only has there been issues with the defense, but this offense hasn't been very consistent or productive. This year, while it started off well with the 56 points against West Brunswick, this year is going to be, as the kickoff is up, and it will go out of the end zone for a touchback. So the Panthers will start with the ball at the 20-yard line. Barring a crazy game in this one, but, I mean, if things continue, it could potentially happen, but I doubt it. This would be the lowest scoring season of the Mark Morris era.
Wow. Even at 27.83 points per game?
Yeah. Because crazy. They have scored less than 200 points this season.
Wow.
In total.
Wow.
Shotgun set, 2 wide on the far side, or on the near side.
And then it includes a condensed COVID year.
Yes. Oh, the COVID year was one of the highest scoring years in program history, as they'll hand it off to Zion Gilbert. He will get held up at the 24-yard line for a gain of 3, and it'll be 2nd and 7. The 2020 COVID year, even for 7 games, ranked 2nd in program history.
Yeah, that's
and then 2019 was the top one with almost double.
Yeah,
Shotgun set, 3 wide on the near side, 1-step drop, looking down the middle, and it's caught by, dropped. That was
Hayden Cotton on the slant
Cotton.
And that one bobbled around, and it was very close to being intercepted as well.
Yeah.
It was bounced around Hayden and like 3 St. James defenders, and that sets up a 3rd and 6, and you have to make this at least 4th and manageable because we know he's going to go for it. You have to make this at least 4th and 3, 4th and 2, if not get the first down.
So it'll be a 3rd and 6 from the 24-yard line.
And I mean, you've had Nate and Anthony both go past everybody on 2 separate occasions. Why not do it again here?
Shotgun set, 3 wide, and a timeout is called,
play
I believe.
Was running down.
Yeah. Well, I saw the play clock running down, but it seemed like they were set up quickly enough that they could have gotten the playoff. But
I think it's one of those things, given where you are on the field and the 3rd and 6 already, that penalty would have brought it to 3rd and 11. I think you gotta sit there and you gotta we gotta call a timeout, we gotta regroup. But
so with less than a minute left to go in the first quarter, this is a big play for the Panthers early on in this game.
It really is, and the fact that they use a timeout here.
Yeah.
In the first quarter.
Which I never like.
Right. But I think right here it's a big enough play in the first quarter to where you gotta kinda we gotta set everybody up for this play and we gotta make sure everyone's ready. But to my point, Nate Schuessler already has a 30-plus yard catch. Anthony has a 61-yard touchdown catch. Why not? You've seen them burn this defense twice in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Send Anthony or Nate on a go route. And if you really want, have an intermediate route underneath if it's not open. Just give Scotty options to go throw the ball down the field.
So here we go. Shotgun set, 2 wide on the other side. Play action pass. They'll throw it deep to Schuessler. Schuessler has to come back, and he makes the catch. Oh, no! He had it in his hands, but number 30.
That had nothing to do with the defense.
Yeah.
I want to give the defense credit all.
It did look like he got his hand in there a little bit.
That was a very catchable ball. And I guarantee you that one he put it only where Nate could get it. He put it on the back shoulder. And
someone must have changed numbers because I don't have a 30 on my roster.
And now Scotty's going to punt.
They're going to punt it.
And that ball is going. He's going to fair catch it right at the fumble. He muffed it.
And
Carolina
the Panthers get it.
What a turn of events here, and that gives this offense another life. And I got the call.
Yeah, there you go.
And we've been talking about how the Carolina Forest punt defense has been getting close to blocking a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
But now the return or the punt away team is getting the recover on the muff punt, and that's one of the benefits of keeping your wide receiver core out there is they're very, very fast and they have good instincts and to get the ball.
So it's 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line of St. James. Play action pass. Saylor goes deep and just a little too far, trying to go to Owen Hall.
That one was Scotty's fault. Scotty just overthrew him, and that was a good time to That was a good time to take a deep shot.
Yard line for a gain of maybe 1.
That was closer to half a yard.
Yeah, that was half a yard.
That was not.
They'll give him the 1, but it'll now be 3rd and 9 from the 47-yard line.
So this offense cannot squander this.
No.
The offense cannot squander a free possession, basically, as we're running under 10 seconds to go in the first quarter.
We'll see if they decide to snap it at all.
Will.
They do. Shotgun set, 3 wide on the near side. Saylor goes 5-step and tries to get it to Schuessler, but it's incomplete.
That's actually Youngblood on the
catch.
catch.
Yeah.
And that will end the first quarter, but Youngblood kind of bobbling it, but to his credit, makes it a 4th and...
he actually caught that.
Yes, yeah,
I thought he dropped it.
To his credit, makes it a 4th and about 4 to going into the second quarter.
So we'll take a quick break. End of 1. St. James up 14-10 over the Panthers here on the Carolina Forest Panther Football Network.
Switching is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on the lights. We switch TV channels. Some of us switch partners while square dancing. Well, that's a stretch. But what's not a stretch is how you can switch and save with State Farm. In fact, State Farm agent Tony McAfee, right here in Carolina Forest, can switch you over so you can start saving today. Tony and his team are ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood. With Tony McAfee, it's easy to switch and save. Just give him a call. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back as we are headed into the second quarter here at Panther Stadium, and the Panthers trying to make the muff punt, make the Sharks pay for the muff punt, and retake the lead. Down by 4 right now, 14-10.
So this drive right here, you have to
get points.
You got a free possession, and now you can't squander it. You can't just let it. You can't just give it right back to St. James after getting the punt back.
So this play right here, this 4th down, is huge. 4th and 4 from the 42-yard line. Shotgun set, 2 wide on the far side. Saylor takes a snap. He'll roll out to his right and throw it on the run, and it's caught by Owen Hall. He'll stay on his feet and get pulled down finally at the 30-yard line, but that'll be enough for a Tony McAfee State Farm Carolina Forest first down. No, that was actually Nathan Schuessler who made that catch.
And that play, right, the rollout by Scotty Saylor with the comeback route on that far side has worked very well this year. And it's a move the chains type of play for this Carolina Forest offense.
Shotgun set, 2 wide on the near side. Saylor takes a snap, will hand it off to Gilbert. Gilbert tries to get around the corner.
That's drawn, I want to say. I believe that's Quavius drawn. He's a little bit smaller of a back. Number
26. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It is Quavius drawn out there. So he will get a gain of 2, and it'll be 2nd and 8.
And it's been a little bit of a committee the entire season, just kind of filling in the Khalil Johnson role or the Khalil Johnson shoes. And I mean, we've even seen a little bit of Khalil Johnson in the committee as well.
Yeah.
But it's been a very committee-based backfield this year.
Shotgun set, 2 wide on the far side. Saylor takes a snap, will take a 3-step drop and throws it deep, and Nas makes the catch and gets pulled into the end zone for the touchdown.
And as soon as I saw him on that go route, you heard me say Nas.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw him on that go route, guess what? It was very obvious. One-on-one, I will take Nas with any corner. I said this time and time again. One-on-one, I will take Nas with any corner in the county. I do not care.
And I believe, I would have to imagine at this point, Scott Saylor is at least close to the 2,000 mark, if not past it. As the extra point is up and good. And it's 17-14. Panthers in the lead with 10:45 left to go in the half.
But yeah, great play call. And I love the trust that I think we're seeing now from the coaching staff, from Coach Mark Morris. And there was an update on the Berkeley or the Cane Bay game. Yeah. They were up 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. So they are currently in the lead, up by 14 at the end of one.
River Bluff is up over Chapin. Okay. I mean, not that it matters, because River Bluff is already locked into that spot. But if the Panthers win this game, that's who they would be facing off against next week. So a great drive for the Panthers right there.
And that's exactly how you make them pay for it. Yeah. And I would like to point out, Carolina Force is just in a huddle for the kickoff.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's been a bigger tell for maybe an onside kick or something like that than going into a huddle for the kickoff. So, maybe I'm lying. As the ball falls off the tee again.
The wind.
The wind monster. That is a...
He has 181 passing yards
in the
first quarter
and 2 minutes.
2 minutes, yeah.
That is crazy.
Well, minute and a half.
Minute and a half. And that was to the 40-yard line, so that's where St. James will take over.
So St. James takes over at the 40. Shotgun set, 2 wide on the far side. They'll motion, run, they'll hand it off, and being held up behind the line of scrimmage is Keandre Haynes, and that'll be a loss of 1 for St. James. And, hey, that's a good sign. Maybe the Panthers are starting to get better at reading this triple option and figuring out what St. James is doing offensively.
Well, to kind of go with that point, now you can't let him out of second and long, and hopefully third and long if it gets to that.
So it'll be 2nd and 11, pistol set, 2 wide on either side. Schwalm moves the motion, hands it off, and again, Haynes gets held up, and a prowl of Panthers take him down for a loss of 1 again, and it is now 3rd and 12.
All right. This right here, it better be 4th and 12 after this play. You cannot let them even get close because of how well their offense has been the first 2 drives of this football game.
They'll go shotgun set, 3 wide on the far side. Schwalm will motion Haynes out, look toward him. Now he'll roll out to his right, trying to do it himself. Gets past the line of scrimmage and gets taken down at the 46-yard line. A good gain, but not enough for the first down, and it'll be 4th and 4.
So, and a new group is coming out, so I'm assuming they're going to punt.
It's going to punt. Yeah, they're going to punt.
Which makes me kind of think about how conservative some of the coaches are. Like, Morris would not even be thinking twice about 4th and 4 from here. And that is one of the few things that I really, really like about Mark Morris, is that he's very aggressive at a high school level where you can be very, very aggressive.
So Daniel Deneen coming out to punt it away. He almost gets it blocked, but is able to get it away. Nathan Schuessler calls for the fair catch, and he will make the catch at the 30-yard line. So that's where the Panthers will start on offense with 8.5 minutes left to go in the half.
Defense is a really good stop.
Yes, that's a big stop because now if the Panthers can score, they can make this a 2-possession game.
That is a very, very big stop by this Panthers offense, and by this Panthers defense, and with how the offense has been playing, this could be a very momentum swinging part of the game.
Definitely.
That muff punt will be huge if they go score a touchdown here.
Shotgun set, 2 wide on the far side. They'll hand it off to Gilbert, and he'll just get held up right at the line. Tried to find, oh, that was actually drawn, I think, again. And he does get a yard, but just couldn't find a hole through the offensive line.
This St. James passing defense looks very, very good. Or running defense, I should say, looks very, very good. And it should lead to more of a passing offense for Carolina Forest.
Shotgun set, 2 wide on the far side. Sailor, 5-step drop, looking, throws it deep, and it is just a little too far, trying to go to Aponte.
Okay, so that route right there was Anthony was lined up in the slot, and he ran a real route on the outside, and Nathan came up in the middle to run an in route. That ball was well thrown because there was safety help underneath, and it just got over the safety help underneath and got into a position where Anthony could have made a play on it just a little bit too far. But if he throws it a little too short, it would have
been picked off. Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's the only place you really can put that.
So it'll be 3rd and 9. Yeah. Shotgun set, 2 wide on either side. Sailor takes a snap, 1-step drop, looks deep, and throws it. Clay Schuessler, he'll get the first down and more and gets taken down at the 20-yard line. That'll be enough for, oh no, that was actually Owen Hall. And he will get taken down they'll mark him down at the 24-yard line, but that'll be enough for a Tony McAfee State Farm Carolina Forest first down.
And Owen Hall being the featured receiver.
Yeah.
He's been open constantly.
Now, if they could have done that in the Sumter game or in the Somerville game.
Well, what's really funny is that Owen wasn't there for the Sumter game.
That is true. That is very true. Shotgun set, 2 wide on either side. They'll hand it off to Gilbert. Gilbert will bounce inside and gets taken down at the 17-yard line, I believe.
There's a flag in the backfield, though. This is gonna come back.
Yeah, it's gonna be a holding. Yeah, it's gonna be a holding call on the Panthers, so they'll push him back.
This offense just flows so much better when they are passing the football.
Yeah,
it flows so much better.
So it'll be 1st and 15.
20.
Or 1st and 20. Yeah.
This
deep, and it is incomplete, dropped by Nathan Schuessler. And he was well guarded, but it looked like he could have made that catch and just bobbled it a little bit.
There was also a lot of hand fighting going on in that play, and probably a good no call because I think it was going both ways on that. But when you're hand fighting, you don't have any hands to catch the football with.
So that'll set up 2nd and 20. Shotgun set, 3 wide on the near side, 7 minutes left to go in the half.
So I wonder if Coach Mark Morris has played Madden because the 4 verticals is probably the play call I would go with right now.
They'll move the Youngblood from the near side to the far side. They'll run a screen pass over to Youngblood, or actually to Schuessler, and he makes the catch and gets taken down at the 30-yard line for a gain of about 5.
So how close would Coach Mark Morris have to get without being too close to the first down for them to kick a field goal?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, as it's now 3rd and 15 from the 30-yard line. They'll go shotgun set, 3 wide on the near side. Sailor takes a snap, 3-step drop, looking down the field, and he makes the catch.
Incomplete.
Oh no, incomplete. Trying to get it to Owen Hall, and now Owen Hall comes up a little gimpy.
I think he jammed his finger.
Yeah, either jammed his finger or on that tackle got the wind knocked out of him.
So Scotty's not going out, so it's not the 30-yard line is where he would kick a field goal from.
No.
Nas comes in and is in one-on-one coverage right now at the bottom of the field, in the near side field. Obviously, Scotty could go back into punt formation, but all of the offense is looking at the wristbands right now. I highly doubt this is a punt.
So shotgun set, 2 wide on either side. Sailor takes a snap, a weird snap, but Sailor is able to get it. He throws it into the middle of the field, and it is incomplete, but there will be a flag.
In the end zone.
Trying to get it to Schuessler.
And Schuessler just got tackled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Schuessler just got straight up tackled in the end zone. Can't do that.
No,
no. You are not legally allowed to tackle someone in the end zone before they get the ball. But the big part about that is that's a first down on fourth down.
Exactly.
And
that reminds me of the end of the Sockasty game last year.
It does. But except it happened like 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. So they do confirm it is pass interference, and that will give the Panthers another Tony McAfee State Farm Carolina Forest first down.
And
that'll move them up to the 15-yard line.
Which is actually where the first down marker was. Mm-hmm. Isn't that funny? Funny how that works. Wait.
So it's 4th and inches, actually. So I take that back.
Yeah.
So shotgun set, one wide on either side. Saylor looking over to the sideline. And now moves the H-back from the far side to the near side. Saylor takes the snap. They'll hand it off to Gilbert. Gilbert gets through the hole and steps his way into the end zone for the touchdown.
He just broke right through the hole. And I guess ball don't lie?
No.
Ball don't lie. Great run right there by Zion Gilbert. He hit the hole and just did not even care to look back.
He was just like, Get 1 yard for a first down? Forget about that. I'll just get it all. So he gets the 15-yard touchdown run, and the extra point is up and good. And with just over 6 minutes left to go in the first half, it is 24-14, Panthers in the lead.
Weird score. We don't see 24 very often.
Yeah. Well, because we don't see field goals very often.
Right. And the muff punt is probably the turning point in this game.
Yes. Oh, definitely.
Not only do you steal a possession, you go score a touchdown, defense gets a stop, and you score another touchdown to make it a 2-possession lead with the ball to start the second half.
Well, you hear it all the time from coaches. What wins games? Turnovers.
Right. And you know what? You know what also loses games for teams? Turnovers.
Well, actually, that's more so the case.
Right.
It's more so
Whoever wins the turnover battle usually wins the game.
Or whoever makes the fewest amount of mistakes usually wins the game. And St. James just made a huge mistake on that muff punt.
So at what point do they just let JJ kick the ball down the field? I really want to know.
I don't think it'll happen.
I don't think it'll happen either, but it would really be nice to see just one time. But if this defense can hold him to another stop, as JJ will squib it again, goes collected at the 25-yard line, he's going to flip the field. He's going to find a goal. He's going to get through the return team to about the 45-yard line, and that just goes with my point. 45 to the 20-yard line are not the same. Even if you get a return, it's not going to be the 45 on the kick return.
No.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
But that's where St. James will start with the ball at their own 45-yard line.
Can you tell I'm not used to calling squib kicks? But yeah, 5:55 to go. If you can get the offense back to get the offense
coverage on the screen pass right there.
They set up a kind of a tunnel for him to run through, and was able to just run straight through the blocks for a big gain.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from the Carolina Forest 45. Shotgun set. Bunch 2 on the near side. They'll hand it off, and getting through, still on his feet, trying to bounce it to the outside, going down the sideline, and finally getting pushed out of bounds at the 29-yard line is Isaiah Brown.
That was bad.
Yeah.
That was
and now the defense is back to where they were a couple of drives ago.
Right. But realistically, with how this game's going, you're only going to need one stop.
Yes. Now with the Panthers having more than a possession lead, now you are kind of safe to where, especially with how dominant the offense has been, you don't necessarily need the defense to make many stops. Pistol set, 2 wide on the far side. They'll run the motion again, and this time they'll pitch it out, and getting taken down after a gain of 1 is Sant. Or excuse me, that was actually number 12, Baylor Tibbetts, with the carry.
And that right there was perfect. You
Yeah.
got out to the outside, you didn't let him turn the corner, and you stopped him at the line of scrimmage. That right there was textbook run to the outside defense. That was textbook stretch defense.
And that's what you need to do on these triple option plays, is you just need to cover everyone pretty much. Shotgun set, 2 wide on the near side. They'll run the motion offense again. This time they'll pass it, though, instead, gets it out to Sant, and he makes the catch. Oh, actually, that will be number 23.
Michael Jordan?
No.
Number 23.
23. Don't have him on my roster. That 2 wide on the other side. They'll once again, this time they'll run the pure speed option, and it gets fumbled, and it's recovered by the Panthers. Great job right there. I think he tipped it a little bit.
Well, Renardo Parks hit the quarterback as he picked it, and when he and Rivas was out there to make the recovery. What a great play right there by the Cal Force defense. And
to Owen Hall, and he makes the catch and gets taken down at the 25-yard line. That was an interesting little play design right there.
And we usually see it for Nathan Schuessler. It's basically a tunnel screen. You see the usually the tight end and the other wide receiver. That was a 63-yard bomb.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Just beat the defender and was able to take it all the way into the end zone. The extra point is up and good. And with 2:10 remaining in the first half, it is 31-14. Panthers in the lead. And with how productive the offense has been, you have to wonder, do they get close to that 70 mark?
What are we at, 31 right
31,
now?
yeah.
It would take a crazy productive output in the second half to be able to do that. And now give it. The offense has been very, very, very productive. But I don't think we
considering how St. James has been over the years, it's not really surprising. But out of the, a little more than 10, but like out of the, games that are in the top 10 for highest margin of victory, how many do you think are St. James games?
At least half. 5.
You are dead on. 5.
Look at me as the kickoff return is caught at the 25, and he will get taken down this time for only a gain of about 8 on the return, taken down at the 33-yard line. And so, okay, talking about that third down play that Scotty had, Scotty looked dead to rights.
Yeah.
Scotty looked like he was down at, probably about the, 30, 15-yard line.
Yeah.
But was able to get around him and able to flip it out to Zion for just a pitch and catch right there.
Yeah. And great wherewithal to know that Zion was right there as they'll hand it off, and getting stood up behind the line of scrimmage is Isaiah Brown, and that'll be a loss of 3. And a great job by Renardo Parks and the Prowl Panthers just standing him up for the loss, and it'll be 2nd and 12.
So Scotty has a 61, a 63, and a 40-some yard passing play that wasn't a touchdown. Just Scotty's been on all cylinders, and this defense, I think, is a little invigorated when seeing Scotty doing that.
Well, now that they know that they have a bit of a cushion, now the defense is like, okay, we can relax. We can just play our game. At the 38.
54.5.
Yeah. Shotgun set, 3 wide on the near side.
You got Nas and Anthony in single coverage on the near side.
Saylor takes the snap, 3-step drop, looking, getting some pressure, tries to dump it off, but it's incomplete. Finds a hole and is still up on his feet, gets taken.
And right now, you go play action now.
Yeah.
With how good the running games looked on this drive, you go play action deep.
Shotgun set, 3 wide on the near side, 5-step drop for Saylor. He'll throw it down the middle to Schuessler. He makes the catch. And actually, that was
2.
Shotgun set, 3 wide on the far side.
Just under 25 seconds.
Saylor takes a snap, 3-step drop, looking far side, dump out to Aponte, and to Zion, and he drops it.
Only good part about that, then, you still have a timeout.
Welcome back as we are at halftime here at Panther Stadium with the Panthers in the lead over the St. James Sharks 34-14. And the Panthers are looking to go over 500 this season and clinch the number 2 seed in Region 5-5A for the SCHSL playoffs, which start next week. Real quick, before we get into some other things, get you ready for the playoffs next week, we'll go to the next level. Panthers know them at the next level this week. Campbell travels to North Carolina A&T. Coastal facing off against Marshall in Marshall. East Carolina is at BYU tonight. And Wofford hosts ETSU tomorrow. For St. James, there are 2 former Sharks that are at the next level now in Division I, and both are from the team last year, graduated last year. Justice Williams is at Presbyterian. Braylon Sapp is at Wofford.
Next up, Stephen Carrasco.
This week, Presbyterian is at Marist. And looking ahead to next week, we have a couple of different scenarios. Right now, it looks like
your notes page for next week in Region 5-5A is usually like 3 lines. On your notes, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines.
Yeah. Well, because there's so many different scenarios. Right now, I mean, barring something crazy happening, Panthers up by 20 points. The momentum is squarely in the Panthers' favor right now. More than likely, we will be hosting River Bluff next week. But St. James, or if something drastic happens in this game, the loser of this game will face off against either Berkeley, Stratford, or Wando, depending upon day. So that's I have a River Bluff and Chapin. Well, it doesn't really matter for us, but River Bluff is beating Chapin 35-7.
Well, dang.
And so there are some of the updates for you guys.
Looking to the second half.
Yes.
This is the best the offense has played. And I swear, if Coach Mark Morris goes to a more conservative outlook, you have to keep your foot on the gas pedal.
Which, we'll see. But I agree with you. I agree.
Hey, so we're at 34.
Yeah.
You know what 34 times 2 is?
70. Well,
68.
Yeah.
68.
Yes.
We don't do mathematical calculus.
Well, I was close.
Right. However, I think this offense, starting with the football, can go do. We
get the ball back. We get the ball.
No, we don't.
We started with the ball, so they get. Yeah, you're right.
We started with the football. Yeah. So, even more importantly, this defense has to go get a stop.
Yeah.
They have to go get a stop, and they've done it multiple times. Turnover on downs a couple of times, an actual turnover, and a muff punt. Just in all phases of the game, Carolina Forest has been better.
Yeah.
It has been perfectly clear to see that to anyone who's watching or even listening, that Carolina Forest on all 3 phases has been winning at the point of attack.
Yes.
And I would like to bring up a story. So the Chargers of, I think, there was a 2000, I think it was 2006. They led in offensive efficiency. They were first. Defensive efficiency, they were first. You know what phase of the game they were last in?
Turnovers?
Special teams.
Oh, special teams.
They were last in special teams, and that just goes to show how much special teams can mess your team up. St. James was going to get the ball back up by, what was it? They were
up by 4. Yeah.
They were going to get the ball up by 4, and instead they lose the ball. We get the ball back. We score.
And the momentum just swings immediately.
We went on a 24-0 run since that time. That is how much turnovers and special teams can shift games.
I have some stats for you.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I do.
Scotty is at 224 passing.
No.
Way over?
You're way under.
Okay, so are we saying north of 300?
Yes.
Wow, 325. 350.
A little less.
348.
A little less than that.
347.
340.
Okay, I was gonna get there eventually.
Yes.
But 340.
340
in the first
and
half
three touchdowns.
Does anyone know the high school state record for yards in a game? I guarantee you it's way more than.
Yeah, it's definitely way more than that, but still. Isaiah Brown has 37 yards on 4 attempts and a touchdown. Connor Schwalm has 31 yards on 5 rushes, 6 yards on 4 catches, and a touchdown on 2 receptions.
So it seems like Owen Hall's catches, I think, have taken away from Nathan's.
Yeah.
And does he have Zion's receiving numbers in there too?
No.
Okay. So Zion has at least 3 catches. It almost seems like Nathan is kind of being the spreading out of the passing game is coming at his expense. And that is completely fine because that means that defenses can't pick solely on him.
But by Ian's count, Carolina Forest has 412 yards offensively.
That is ridiculous.
In the first half alone.
Right. That is crazy.
That is crazy. One other... Now, it doesn't really matter. It could potentially matter... For Sockesty,
okay.
Yes. For Sockesty, yes, and for us in 2 weeks. But Fort Dorchester is beating Somerville 17-7.
17 what?
7.
7? Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could matter for us in 2 weeks. Although that would be if we get a rematch against Somerville. Imagine we get a rematch and we beat Somerville.
That would be insane.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
And hey, if this offense plays, so the only difference is they have 2 starting cornerbacks that are D1 talents.
Yeah, exactly.
But also another thing was the offense was not nearly as vibrant and as diverse as it looks tonight.
No. The offense has definitely improved throughout the weeks. Now, granted, the big test is going to be once we get into the playoffs, and especially assuming that they're able to beat whether it be River Bluff or whoever they face off against next week. But the big test is going to be that second round matchup because you have to think about it. The offense didn't look very good in that big, 3-game road trip because of the competition that they were facing off against. Somerville, Oceanside, and South Florence are all top of the line programs.
But realistically speaking, our offense looked great in the second half against Oceanside.
True.
And I'd be willing to bet that we put up more of a fight against Somerville than we did the first time.
Oh, yeah, because, the offense has just become much more productive than it was.
So, not as important for the audience, I guess, but important for us, what do you consider a blowout? Because we came into this game saying, oh, maybe this game probably won't be as big of a blowout as we've seen last week against Sockesty.
Yeah.
What? Because last week was only a 21-point victory. Yeah. I know it felt like we were in control for all of that game, but what?
I would say over 20-point victory is where
you handled business.
Yeah.
But so that was the thing that I was looking at. You know how we said that the Sumter game doesn't look as bad as I think that Sockesty game doesn't look as good as it looks.
Well, but again, and we talked about this throughout the broadcast, especially in the second half last week, how much of the amount of points that Sockesty scored were due to the defense kind of just sitting back and saying, okay, the offense is taking care of business. We don't really need to worry about playing a top-notch game.
You want me to be honest with you?
Okay.
I think it's playing up/down to our competition.
Yes.
Whenever we know that they're a very decent, or at least a decent opponent, not a very good, but at least if we know they're decent, we can like we've held St. James to less points than we held Saucony to, and I think St. James has a better offense than Saucony does overall. I think it simply is playing up / or down depending on who we play to our competition.
And that's a problem that a lot of teams seem to have. I mean, I remember when I was at Seton Hall, that seemed to happen every year where, the teams that we should be able to beat, we were playing close, and then the teams that you were thinking, oh, this is going to be a blowout, in the negative level, they'd also play close.
It just feels like sometimes that, and I'm trying to find a team to compare to. Actually, I know the exact team to compare to.
Okay.
The Los Angeles Chargers. Every year, it seems like no matter what the talent level is, no matter who's coaching, no matter what happens, every single game the Chargers have is close, or they lose a game they probably should have won because they played down to the competition.
Yeah.
Every single year. Because I remember hearing this last year when the Chargers got blown out in Baltimore last year. Everyone was like, what's happening to the Chargers? But then the next week they play a very, very good team, and they beat them. And I think it might have been the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That they beat or played very, very close.
You know what? Another team outside of last year. You know what? Another team that has done that historically? The Bills.
The Bills seem to be the anomaly of perpetual franchises just being bad forever.
Yeah.
You think of the Lions, they've been bad forever.
Yeah.
The Jets have been bad for a hot minute, outside of the Mark Sanchez.
Yeah. The Raiders.
The Raiders have had some success.
Yeah.
They've been a very middle of the pack team.
Yeah.
The Bills have had very low teams, which is how they got Josh Allen.
Yeah.
When you're a team that escapes from poverty like that, you don't know what to do with yourself.
Yeah, really.
Like that's why you've only heard about Bills Mafia more. You've never heard it more prevalent until now.
Yeah, until the last 2 years.
Because they've always been doing like good things for them. Like when the Bills stuck into the playoffs because of the Andy Dalton drive against Baltimore, they donated to Andy Dalton's charity. Like they've done nice things the entire. You just don't hear about it because the Bills suck.
Yeah, exactly.
But right before this band performance ends and the teams come back on the field, what are your, and I'll follow with mine because I think ours are going to be a little bit different this time. Because usually ours are our keys of the game, keys of the second half are the same. But what are your keys to the second half? You do offense, I'll do defense.
Okay, offensively, I think it's just continue what you've been doing. Don't we've talked about it all season long. Let Scott cook. Just the passing game is dominating. Keep on letting the passing game run as it should. Throw in a few trickeration plays like you did with the fake speed option. Just keep on doing what you've been doing.
Don't get conservative.
Exactly.
Don't get
into that
on the run game.
Well, not just that, but also, you hear it in soccer and hockey of, the 2-goal lead is the most dangerous because the team kind of backs off. This is kind of similar in that respect where you're up enough that you should be safe. But if you let off the gas pedal too much, you might hurt yourself.
28-3.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess for the defense, it's kind of the same thing, but in a different way. Don't get complacent.
Yeah.
Don't just think, hey, the offense is going to bail us out. We can settle down a little bit.
Yeah.
You have to just play your game. And so far, the defense has looked very, very good. Now, to your point, we won't see how truly good we are until possibly the second round of the playoffs. Yeah. But St. James isn't bad this year.
No.
St. James, by no stretch of the imagination, is bad.
But, again, 2B7. But they also lost to Ashley Ridge.
Yeah. And Myrtle Beach.
And down year this year. And their 3 wins all came to 3A or lower programs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I think you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Our bar for St. James is so low.
Is that,
expectations was the word I was looking for.
Yeah. But, I mean, but to be fair, we're talking about Stratford. We already talked about. They're not all that great. West Brunswick, obviously a low.
We could have been 2-2 coming out of that 3-game losing streak, or coming out of that three-game away streak.
Yeah.
It just seems like they couldn't pull through, and I feel like your mentality, offense, you can't get complacent in the play calling.
You get the. This is, I mean,
in the air. That's what I mean. Like you have to make them throw underneath.
So it'll be 3rd and 11 from the 44. Shotgun set, 3 wide on the far side. Schwalm, 3-step drop, looking down the field and completes it.
Short.
And he will be short. Got taken down right after making the catch. Was number 4, Keyston Jackson.
And what did I say right before the play started? You can allow them to catch the ball short of the first down marker, but as long as you make the tackle on the spot, it is completely fine. Now, it does set up a shorter fourth. It's 4th and 2.
It's 4th and 2.
But you don't give them the first down on 3rd down, and you make them go a do-or-die 4th and 2.
Yeah. And it looks like they're going to go for it. So 4th sneak,
Short.
And he'll be right at the line to gain. They'll see where they mark it.
They're short. The near side right there, and that's where they're going to mark it.
Looks like, they're going to mark it. They're going to measure it, but it looks like it's going to be short.
It looks like about a half of a yard short.
So they're going to measure it. And, it's going to be short. Not by as much as I thought it was.
That looked like a very generous spot, to be honest with you.
But the Panthers do get the stop and force the turnover on downs, and the Panthers now get the ball back just in their own territory, just barely, at the 46-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 46-yard line. Shotgun set. 1 wide on either side. H-back moves from far side to near side. Saylor takes a snap. Low snap. 3-step drop. Looking near side. Completed to Schuessler. He spin moves out of one defender and now falls forward to the 40-yard line. And that'll be enough for a Tony McAfee State Farm Carolina Forest first down.
Can I do it?
Yeah, go for it.
Just goes right past his defender. And it looks like they're playing like a cover 2
and gets taken down at the 19-yard line.
And that'll set up 3rd and about 5. So, right there, the running game is very inconsistent.
Yeah.
You have the 5-yard gains, which is great. If you get 5 yards a carry, that is beautiful. But 0-yard rushes are not what you want. And we've seen a couple of those from Drawn and and probably several of those from Zion Gilbert tonight.
A minute left to go in the 3rd quarter. Shotgun set, 3 wide on the far side. It will be 3rd and 6. Actually, Ashton Armstrong, who comes into the game, they're getting all the seniors some action. And he makes the catch for a gain of 4, and it'll be 4th and 1. Less than half a minute left to go in the 3rd quarter.
And it looks like
St. James may have called the timeout.
They're calling to the sideline, or they're calling a player off the field. I think they saw him get hurt, or he's walking gingerly to the sideline. They're taking him off the field.
Ah, okay.
So 4th and inches here with 18 seconds to go. Do they run? This will be a running clock. Do they run a play before the end of the 4th quarter? I doubt it. They're walking to the sideline.
Yeah, you're right. Well, what's weird?
Half the team.
I was just gonna say all the skill position players were walking off the field, but the offensive line was just sitting there. And that will bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter with 23
wide on the near side. No one on the far side. Snap. Handoff. Fumble. It's a fumble that's on the ground. And it looks like St. James recovered. An offensive lineman read option midline. And he just held onto the ball for way too long.
Yeah.
That's what happens when there's a miscommunication between the running back and the quarterback. And I almost got a call must have been running into, because roughing would have been an automatic first down. So they're going to call running into the punter, which is when you don't hit his plant leg.
Yeah. So it'll be 4th and 6.
And they still don't go for it. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
They're still going to – this one a much better punt. Nathan She's going to call for a side.
I don't like screen passes, especially on 3rd and long, because you're basically making your running back or the way to the first down instead of it.
And they're just going to let him punt it. Just going to let it go. Heard.
Okay.
And it'll go out of bounds. It'll be wherever the judge say 5-ish, but instead it's at the 43 because of where it went out of bounds over in the air. And Scotty looks like he's still in. And that's Quavius Drawn still in. I can't.
Carl Hamilton.
Carl Hamilton on the catch and run. We are on offense now. But I got it now. We're there now. We are A-okay. Garbage time now, kind of trying to get everybody involved.
Especially with it being senior night.
Right. Carl Hamilton is a senior. Nobody on the near side. Sky's just going to throw another screen, and it's going to get tipped and incomplete. It was right through the hands of it looked like number 27 Kraft, who had the big touchdown in homecoming. But just went right through his hands. Gain of about 5, and that was a big hit. The head.
Yeah. And what's surprising is we talked about this I think a couple of weeks ago. I've never seen a targeting call in high school.
Never. And they're going to call personal foul targeting.
But yeah, some of the Carolina Forest fans were not happy about that call. I heard someone say that it's football.
Right. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. They're going to hand it off to Brown, and Brown will take it up to about the 22, 23-yard line, and just, first down running here for St. James. I need to get some actual play-by-play. This is boring. I actually like play-by-play a lot, though, so it is enjoyable. I do like it. And Schwalm's going to score a touchdown. That looked like Derrick Henry on that one.
That looked like I hate to say this, but that looked like last year's Carolina Forest defense not being able to make any tackles.
Yeah.
Because he shimmied off at least 3 tackles.
At least 3 tackles. As the extra point is on its way, the field goal unit is coming out. But it's garbage time. We don't really care.
Yeah. At this point, it's basically everyone just trying to stay healthy for next week in the playoffs.
Deneen kicks it up, and it is straight through. We are now 20-point game now, 41-21. And, it sucks. You never want to give up points. But it's a 20-point game at this point. Everyone will be okay. Everyone will go home happy after the Carolina Forest victory. Barring something literally insane in the next 2 minutes. Ours is real.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, whenever Mr. Fallon, the announcer, the PA announcer here at Carolina Forest Stadium, whenever he says "make your calls home," that's when you know it's getting to that point.
Over.
As St. James kicking unit now will come out, the kickoff unit, I should say. Any update? Did we ever see a Wando Socastee score?
I don't think so. Let me look to see if I can find one.
Because if Socastee were to lose that game, that would put them in jeopardy of missing the playoffs even with the at-large bid.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Panther cheerleaders. But 2 minutes to go. We should see a heavy dosage of Drawn here, maybe a little bit of Scotty Saylor. But I wouldn't be surprised if Ethan Hamilton comes into this game for this last drive just to keep Scotty healthy for the playoffs.
As of 10 minutes ago, Wando leading Socastee 10-7.
Anthony's going to take the kick, and he will muff it at the 10-yard line. But this one he'll recover and be able to get to the 30-yard line. The first time we've seen an Anthony Aponte return today. And that score is worrying for Socastee.
Yeah.
Because if Socastee were to lose that game, Ian tweeting out his scenarios for this week, if Socastee were to lose that game, they are in prime jeopardy of missing the playoffs even with the at-large. And the refs are they don't know what's going on. What is going on? They're looking for a ball that's not soaked. I think that's what that is. Yeah, they're changing out the ball.
Looking to see if there's any. They're just trying to.
That is what we're going to be looking at all of next year. Shotgun set, motion man coming in, snap, hands it off this time, and he actually they're going to mark him down at the 5. It looks like. Yeah, 5-yard line.
So an update on Sumter and Conway. Not that it really matters for either team or for region purposes, but as of let me find it again.
And Schwam on the hand. That will be the last game or last play of the game. Your
3-game road trip against top quality opponents was the low point, but that's what happens when you
play quality teams.
When you schedule Oceanside, Somerville, and South Florence back to